WWE NXT No Mercy 2024 results, winners, live grades, reaction and highlights. NXT No Mercy promised to be both a showcase of the top young talent on the Gold brand but also a highlight for the TNA/NXT relationship. All ego. Ethan Page would defend his NXT Championship against the viral sensation Joe Hendry. Could over 6,000 fans in attendance at the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado believe enough to push Hendry to the top of NXT? Roxanne Perez faced a young feisty Jaida Parker, who was hungry for success. Would Parker pull of the upset? Could one of the top incoming stars arrive in NXT in the aftermath? Oba Femi faced the always dangerous Tony D'Angelo with the North American Championship on the line. Kelani Jordan put her Women's North American Championship on the line against Wendy Choo. Andre Chase and Ridge Holland needed to prove themselves as NXT Tag Team Champions against the former champs Nathan Frazer and Axiom. The intense rivalry of Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz came to a head. This was certain to be a wild night for many of NXT and TNA's top stars. Nathan Frazer and Axiom fought harder than they ever have to regain the NXT Tag Team Championship, even kicking out of the powerbomb/backstabber of Andre Chase and Ridge Holland. A Spanish fly into a Phoenix splash sealed the win. Afterward, Holland lost it, attacking Duke Hudson and Riley Osborne from behind, then laying out Chase with a clothesline and DDT on the announce table. Chase had to be stretchered out while Thea Hale cried. This was wild fun to watch. Everyone was working hard to make the most of the moment. It was certainly a spot fest, but it was one that would be tough to match or exceed for the rest of the night. There were story opportunities not played out in this contest. The supersonic duo keeps struggling with communication despite supposedly getting on the same page. It is time to move on from that angle. Holland never tried to cheat despite his previous teases. That was an easy layup that could have better explained the heel turn, especially if Hudson got in the way. NXT teased the heel turn again and again with Holland until it was much easier to root for his redemption. Turning him at this moment makes little sense, and hurts what goodwill he had built with Chase U. The opportunity of finally running with Chase U disappears into the dust once again. Frazer and Axiom is a phenomenal tag team and will do well with the gold, but both title changes come off as a waste. Result: Frazer and Axiom def. Chase U by pinfall to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Zachary Wentz looked like the better man early and often in this match, while Wes Lee needed to take cheap shots to stay in the action. Trey Miguel arrived to stop Lee from using a steel chair near the end, and Wentz capitalized with a Canadian Destroyer outside and UFO inside the ring to win. The placement of this match on the card was odd, as this was the other fast-paced match on the card. It also led to back-to-back matches with announce table spots. Still, this was a good one, especially in the back half. Down the stretch, they worked the heat of the build, and it made it genuinely exciting to see Miguel returning to stop Lee's cheap tactics. Moreover, it was cool to see a TNA X Division champion winning on an NXT Premium Live event. This was the result this match needed after all of Lee's TNA insults. This should not be the end of the story. Miguel especially deserved more of the NXT rub before the Rascals' time in NXT is over. Result: Wentz def. Lee by pinfall. Kelani Jordan fought through the best offense in Wendy Choo's repertoire, staying in the fight until she found her opening. She hit second rope senton bomb into a split-legged moonsault for the victory. Afterward, Tatum Pax Slay choked out Choo with a dragon sleeper to get revenge. In front of a more committed crowd like in the Performance Center, this would have risen higher. Instead, Jordan and Choo worked slow and low energy until the final couple minutes. It was a relatively clean but hardly remarkable match where Lani was in need of an opponent that could push her more. Her work with Pax Slay recently would have made for a better PLE match. The right woman won, as Choo's new character is still not clicking while Jordan is one of the most over women in NXT. She is learning with each match. Result: Jordan def. Choo by pinfall to retain the Women's North American Championship. Tony D'Angelo pushed Oba Femi nearly beyond his limits. However, after an exhausting war, the ruler hit 2 power bombs in a row to seal the victory. This match was much different from everything that preceded it. These two bigger men brawled across this ring, and the crowd was going wild for the heavyweight showdown. The juxtaposition from the earlier fast-paced action paid off and made this feel big time. The final near falls were genuinely wild and landed with a crowd explosion. Once again, Femi is one of NXT's best stars, and D'Angelo gave him the perfect test. The ruler looked like a main event act against a man that should be on the main roster sooner than later. It is hard to imagine anyone soon stepping up that give this kind of fight to Femi. On paper, especially due to a lack of build, this did not come off as a worthy match for a PLE. However, the crowd clearly came to see these two women, and they played into that volume with charisma and intensity. This was one of the best performances of Perez's career, knowing when to take her time and milk the reaction. She made Parker look like a terrifying challenger for the prodigy. To the challenger's credit, this was a career-making performance, so much better than anything she has done before. She leaned stiffer with her strikes. She improvised far more than usual, and sold her ribs consistently. Add the cherry on top with Julia's much-anticipated arrival to create a special night for the NXT Women's Division. Julia is almost certainly set to dethrone Perez and take over the NXT Women's Division.